Welcome, I hope your coffee is warm. Today we are looking at the queen of high stakes aggro. It's Kaalia of the Vast. And this 4-mana commander, if she gets the swing, she changes the game. Not in a way where maybe you get a bit of advantage or something like that. No, people expect you to immediately win the game once Kaalia has swung only once. So everyone actually knows this, and she will be a lightning rod for removal. Even sometimes when there is something more pressing already on the battlefield, maybe from your opponents, or maybe you already put it onto the battlefield and that was your biggest threat, still Kaalia can be a lightning rod at that point sometimes. People just get a little bit irrational. So this is, to me, a very cool commander to build around because it is so unique in the fact that she always gets targeted. So in this deck, weirdly, you will have a bunch of big win cons. There's a lot of cards here above 5 mana, so 6 or more. I think I have 15 cards that could be a win con. They are all either demons, dragons, or angels. Because of course, Kaalia says when she attacks, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So I have this many, because I think you need at least 11 to get a 70% plus chance to draw one once you have Kaalia out and attacking. So I have 15 because I wanted a little bit more, and I think they can also double as card draw or board wipes or stuff like that. So I have them categorized in things like protection, for which I have, for example, Avacyn, the Angel of Hope, which gives everything, of course, indestructible. We have some direct damage, like Summon Bahamut, a new one, of course, from Final Fantasy. This one first destroys a permanent 2 turns after each other, then draws you 2 cards on the 3rd chapter, and on the 4th, deals damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent. And with Kaalia out, I'm hoping at this point you will have some other demon or dragon or angel that is very big, so that you can deal a bunch of damage to your opponents. I really like this one because of that. And another group I have is things that give you a bunch of advantage points, like Vel'Gavoth, which is a card that says if a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you exile it instead. And then during your turn, you may play the cards exiled with Vel'Gavoth and pay life rather than its mana value, rather than its mana cost for the amount of mana value the card had. So you can play a bunch of cards. This is a lot of advantage, of course. The card is 9 mana, so you almost never get to play it. That's basically why I want to put it in here. So that's one way. Or extra combat things like Aurelia, the War Leader, which is also way too big for what it does. But whenever Aurelia attacks for the first time each turn, you get another combat and untap all creatures you control. So you get to use your commander an extra time. This is basically doubling the thing your commander does. So it's a win more in a deck that really doesn't need it. But it's a way to get more attacks out, and at least it makes it enables you to attack twice with Kaalia. So that's a little bit of an extra. So I don't mind the extra combat because of it. So we need, I think, to talk a bit about the lore of Kaalia, because Kaalia has wings, which seems weird for a human cleric. But Kaalia's story is that her home was destroyed by a Grixis demon named Nefarox. And after this, as she was a very angry girl who had destruction magic, she grew her wings somewhere along the way. Basically, we don't know what happened. But my theory is that as she had this destructive power, she learned to be sort of friends with all of the Alaran big flying creatures that were all about destruction in their own ways. So we have demons, which, as we saw from her village being destroyed, are all about destruction. We have dragons, which you can also imagine. And then angels also are about destruction, but only if they feel like it's right or something. But they are all about destruction, and they feel drawn towards Kaalia and her magic, and that's why she has grown those extra wings. or wings at all. So I feel like the creatures just align with her, but that's a feeling, not a real lore bit. For haste, you preferably have it out before you get Kaalia herself out, so that she can attack immediately. Now, of course, there's things like Rising of the Day, which do this perfectly. Your commander is 4 mana, Rising of the Day is 3 mana, so you playlist the turn before, play your commander with an extra land after it, and then she gets haste and attacks immediately. You could also keep ramping, of course, and then I hope you have something like Lightning Greaves, because Lightning Greaves, of course, is the only boot that you can equip for free. So she will also get haste immediately. Any other ones of the boots are also good, but then you will need extra mana. Now for other protection, this is way bigger than in most of my other decks. So I feel like you need a lot of protection for Kaalia, because this is basically the thing people are going to do. They are going to try to remove it. One I really like, which isn't usually in our decks, is Voice of Victory. This is a new one newer one from Tarkir that says your opponents can't cast spells during your turn, which means of course that Kaalia will be safe to attack if she has haste. Reconnaissance is also a really good one, a bit more popular with the commander, because it is a 1 mana enchantment that says that for 0 mana you can remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. So in this way, of course, she will not do any combat damage, but we won't really care about that because she is safe. And we only can save her, of course, if we need to. If she gets to deal the damage, then fine. Now ramp here is really important, because the thing I like to do is ramp until I can't ramp anymore. So I ramp even further than being able to cast my commander oftentimes. So I don't stop at 4 mana. So we have a bunch of talismans and signets, of course, but aside from those signets, I have cards like Simian Spirit Guide and Dark Ritual to give us temporary mana. Dark Ritual gives us 2 extra mana, of course. We pay 1 black mana and then get 3 back. And Simian Spirit Guide we can immediately exile from our hand to get an extra red mana, so that's 1 extra. Now the reason why I love this is that we don't need a lot of mana necessarily. So we can just play our commander and win through that, and we don't mind being a bit hedonistic while doing it. Now for our second commander, really you want something that can put something onto the battlefield for free. Now one way that you can almost for free do this is Sneak Attack. Of course it's a 4 mana enchantment, so it's basically like your commander, and then you will need 1 extra red mana to put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, give it haste, but you have to sacrifice the creature at the beginning of the next end step. So of course it doesn't work with all of our creatures, because many of them we want to have out on the battlefield forever, but it does work with many of them. And with those you should be able to win the game if you get 2 or 3 of them out, if you can devise a plan around that, of course. Now removal I have a bit more of. This is because I think one way to stop you from needing to play your commander to do something is being able to interact with your opponents, of course. Now I have 11, which is a lot for many people, but it's just 1 more than I usually do. I feel like it is also because we are in good colors for it. So for example, we have white, which is great at removal actually. We have Spectacular Tactics, which is a new one, a common from the Spider-Man set, which I think is underrated a bit. It's 2 mana to give a creature hexproof and a +1 counter, but we don't care about that. But you can also choose to have it destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. I feel like this is very flexible, and because of it, it's great protection for this deck. Also fine removal in that sense. For our great colors though, I think we mostly think about things like Anguished Unmaking in Orzhov, which just exiles any non-land permanent and you lose 3 life, but we again don't care about that. Or for example Terminate in Rakdos, which is also a great removal color pairing that just says for 2 mana destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Now for card draw, I feel like you need enough, but you should be able to win the game with a few of your threats out. And that's why I made sure that there were so many in the deck, so that you don't need too much card draw. I still have 9 pieces. Personally, I like having enough. but I feel like many of them are also some of our big threats. So yeah, that isn't really counting. But I think the most important one that is a bit different from most decks is Kaalia, the Zenith Seeker. It's a 3 mana other Kaalia that says when she enters when she enters the battlefield, you look at the top 6 cards of your library and you may reveal an angel, a demon, and or a dragon from among them and put that into your hand. Of course, this can make sure that you get 3 cards that you can win the game with, and that is why I like having all 3 creature types. So it isn't really a typo deck, but it does make sure that this card in particular works very good, and of course that is a flavorful extra bit of card draw. For board wipes, as we are in Mardu, I really like to add the ultimatums. So Ruinous Ultimatum, of course, is very good because if you get to cast it, your opponents won't have any non-land permanents, and you will have whatever you had on the battlefield still. This is a great way if you still have Kaalia out for some reason to destroy everything from your opponents and win the game that way. Baleful Dragon is also a really cool one. It's 7 mana. Of course, you can cheat it out with your commander and says when this deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. So probably 6 damage, which is a lot of damage against their creatures. Also a one-sided board wipe. And that was actually the last card. I am not sure if you like this way of doing the deck decks, but let me know. And if you have any questions, of course, about particular cards that are in, let me also know. And the deck link, if I don't forget, will be in the description. Otherwise, just ask and I will put it in there. Thank you for watching again and have a nice day. Bye.